Believe me, Charleston White's stunning revelations regarding Remy Ma and Papoose's relationship are not what you might expect. Papoose has been hailed by fans for years as the most dedicated husband, supporting Remy through everything, keeping her down while she was incarcerated, and being by her side. But what if I told you that the real tale of Remy Ma's alleged infidelity is far more complex than we ever thought? Remy Ma came out for a dark reason, and if Charleston White only disclosed facts that may affect Eve or anything else, it would fundamentally alter the narrative we took for granted. Was it retaliation, a ruse, or their purportedly perfect romance? Never genuine to begin with. Is going to get dirty, so be prepared. Charleston White just made some shocking revelations, so pay close attention at the very end. Once more, Charleston White has only. When it appeared that the rumors involving Remy Ma and Papoose could not get any more outrageous, Charleston made one startling discovery after another, exposing the far deeper reason why Remy Ma supposedly cheated on Papoose. If he's right, then all we thought we knew about their relationship for years was a total fabrication. Hip-hop's most loyal husband, Papoose, was praised as the ultimate writer. Whatever the case, he was always devoted to Remy. He never cheated, waited, and kept her down until she came home, at which point he was prepared to give her everything. But according to Charleston White, the reality was far more complex, with Remy Ma not being as content behind the scenes as people believed. When she received a 6-year prison sentence, admirers viewed him as the perfect example of what a real guy ought to be. Remy was a different person when she was released from prison in 2014, according to people close to the marriage. Although 7 years in prison may affect a person, she had changed and realized. Considering life from a completely different perspective, Papoose was still the same man she had left behind and desired to carry on their relationship in the same manner. But Remy had changed, and this is where things start to get complicated. Charleston White claims that Remy may not have actually wanted to marry Papoose before she was imprisoned, but that people close to her, including her management, close friends, and even Papoose himself, forced her to do so because it would make for a compelling story. Imagine a youthful female rapper at her career would have ended if she had suddenly faded from the public eye, but she was able to maintain her relevance by marrying Papoose and keeping their romance in the spotlight. Her name was never forgotten because Papoose made sure that everyone would always remember her. But here's the twist. Even though the world saw a beautiful love story unfold, Remy knew she was stepping into a trap the moment she was released from prison. Rather than feeling free, she felt as though she was traveling into a part that had already been decided for her. And Papoose wished for things to go according to his plan. He had spent 6 years painting a picture of their love, and he thought Remy would immediately fit in. But Charleston White says that Papoose was trying to control everything, including her career, her choices, and even her public image, which made the first few months after her release stressful. Remy owed him that much, so she initially tried to comply. Even though he waited for her, supported her, and battled for her, he secretly harbored animosity every time she attempted to take a risk. Because Papoose always provided guidance on what she should and shouldn't do when she tried to collaborate with new artists. Papoose always reminded her that he had sacrificed everything for her and encouraged her to stick with the people who had helped her whenever she grumbled about something. Charleston White claimed that the adultery scandal had been brewing for years due to sources reportedly disclosing intimate talks, and that it wasn't just a random mistake. She says Remy started to feel suffocated and then found solace elsewhere. This is where the insanity starts. The encounter was not published until long after Remy Ma confided in another man. Charleston White believes that Papoose knew the truth weeks before the public did, which is the most amusing aspect of her story. She told him everything, including how she felt constrained, how she was being controlled, and how she didn't feel like she had the space to be herself. Everything exploded when he confronted Remy. He had heard the quiet phone calls and read the late-night texts. It was about everything, not just betrayal. Before the rumors started to spread and the blogs took hold of the tale, Papoose was aware of this, which has been building up throughout the years. Deeply, Papoose fell in love. Furious and confused was the culmination of all his efforts, all his sacrifices, all his repeated acts of devotion. Papoose's death was not an easy one, according to Charleston White. He made an effort to talk it out, restore the marriage, and even show her forgiveness. But by the time the public found out that she had mentally moved on, Remy might have checked out, and the romance that fans so fervently believed in was over. At this point, the situation becomes even stranger. Charleston White claims that there was more to Remy Ma's adultery than just her or love. Remy M's departure from Papoose may be the most significant controversy to date. And if his claims are true, the real narrative is just getting started. I promise you won't believe what comes next. Even while I felt stuck, there was a greater force at play. Papoose was sitting there as the world collapsed around him, the reality weighing down on his chest like an unsupportable weight. From a distance, he had noticed a tiny shift in Ren's demeanor, but he had not believed it. Now, there was no question that she had cheated on the lady he had stood by, supported, and been devoted to through it all. Papo allegedly expected Remy Ma to beg for forgiveness, cry, and defend their marriage when she approached him, but instead she merely gazed at him without responding or providing an explanation, according to Charleston White. It was the height of betrayal, and this silence spoke louder than any justification she could have offered for Papoose. He waited while the world went on, having centered his entire existence around this woman while she was incarcerated. He restrained her and reminded the industry of who she was. The situation deteriorated further as she had torn apart their whole romance. The true motivation behind Remy Ma's infidelity, according to Charleston White, was power rather than love. Papoose has served as the cornerstone of their relationship for years, maintaining stability and ensuring the strength of their love. But after being released from prison, Remy Ma realized she didn't need Papoose. According to further insiders, Remy started to feel stuck, as if she was still being forced to live in the shadow of her past. Papoose Charleston White claims that Remy had been plotting her split for a long time, but now that she was free after spending years in prison, she did not desire a fresh start. However, it wasn't just about desire, it was also about breaking free. And the man she cheated on with wasn't just any ordinary guy. He was a member of the industry, someone Papoose knew, and someone who had been waiting, watching, and making moves for a while. When Papoose learned the truth, everything went haywire. For many years, Papoose was regarded as the husband who personified black love commitment, cool, level-headed, and loyal. Family-oriented values, but after learning who the other man was, he snapped. It wasn't pleasant, according to multiple witnesses, when Papoose faced the V directly. It was at a private function, according to some, and a studio, according to others. "You believe you can have fun with my family?" Angrily, Papoose screamed, his voice quivering. Before he could respond, Papoose swung, and the other man tried to brush it off, seeming composed. According to some accounts, Papoose died with a single strike, while others said security had to drag him away before things got worse. But this is the strangest. Everything was seen by Remy Ma when she was there. Instead of rushing to Papoose's defense, she sided with the other man, and when things went out of control, Papoose realized that the physical altercation was over. Not only was Papoose experiencing heartache, but the business was also publicly humiliating him, and rumors started spreading like wildfire. Was Papoose really the best spouse, or had Remy been awful for years? Did his obsession with devotion drive him to ignore the warning indications that their love had already waned? According to Charleston White, Papoose's claims was broken. He'd put up a fierce struggle to protect their love, but ultimately he was the only one fighting. And that's when he understood that the Remy Ma he loved was gone. This love story didn't end happily ever after. Instead, it ended in betrayal, heartbreak, and unresolved questions. Even with Papoose gone and Remy fully embracing her new life, the question of whether it was all worth it, did Remy Ma discard a faithful man for fleeting excitement, or was Papo simply a chapter in her past that she had outgrown, remains. When Papo left, the pain didn't end. On the contrary, it was just beginning. The industry was buzzing, the streets were ablaze with rumors, and those close to him knew that the betrayal had taken a tremendous toll, despite his best efforts to maintain composure in public. Some see Papoose as a man who has given everything up, while others started to question whether his dedication was a sign of weakness rather than virtue. Given his strength, intelligence, and dedication, how could Papoose have missed this? How? Could he not have realized that the woman he battled so hard for has already investigated Charleston White's allegations that Papoose was engaging in covert combat in previously unheard-of methods? Losing his identity was more important than simply ending a relationship. Papoose had been viewed for years as the ideal spouse, the ride-or-die companion, and the man who put his family first. But that reputation had now been destroyed. Despite spending over a decade demonstrating to the world that genuine love still existed, devotion was important, and a man could always support his woman, he was reportedly humiliated and temporarily cut off from society. Interviews, in addition to not speaking about the issue in public, many claim that he had lengthy conversations with lawyers to decide what to do next. Was his marriage doomed, or would he try to salvage it? As everyone had expected, Remy was acting differently in the interim. She wasn't hiding, crying, or even turning around, and that was the part that stung the most. Remy Ma should have at least apologized and admitted that she had injured the one man who had never given up on her by breaking his heart, but instead she pretended nothing had happened and was spotted grinning at events. When it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, Remy took the unimaginable step and spoke out about the matter for the first time on a podcast. She addressed the accusations that she had betrayed the man who had been true to her for over a decade, the rumors, and the infidelity allegations. Charleston White says her comments left everyone in disbelief. Instead of denying the infidelity accusations, Remy posted on social media, and the man she was caught with was there. By May, a far worse thing had been done. "I think people forget that relationships evolve," she remarked, adding that we've been together for a long time and that individuals grow apart and that love can alter. "Loyalty is crucial, but happiness is also important," she went on to remark. People were so shocked by what they were hearing that the internet went crazy. Remy. The punishment would have been immediate if May had really left Papoose because she wanted anything else. He had been everything to her. Fans attacked her online, accusing her of being cold-blooded, ungrateful, and disloyal. Social media was overflowing with memes, and the hashtag #OurJusticeForPapoose also started to trend. Despite Papoose's silence, lack of response, lack of posting, and lack of self-defense, many closest to him say it was the final straw. After seeing that interview, Papoose finally realized that the woman he loved was gone, according to Charleston White. He had written songs about her and fought for her, but she was someone else. Since she had moved on, it was time for him to follow suit. However, he had to make one more startling discovery before he could fully depart, because people didn't know that Papoose had been working behind the scenes for a long time to get ready for this moment. People close to him said he had been doing everything he could to be loyal to Remy Ma, but he had also been listening and had seen the warning signs. Thus, even before it got to this stage, he had started to take action to legally and emotionally protect his financial future. When the moment came, he didn't just walk away. Instead, he took everything with him because he had been planning his affairs. Papoose was rumored to have secretly erased his name from some joint ventures in order to secure his own financial destiny, had renegotiated contracts to ensure he wouldn't lose money in the event that things didn't work out. And some even asserted that he had already started working on new music in the background that would eventually provide his perspective. After all, Papoose was just getting started, not broken. Out here, Papoose was quietly rebuilding, while Remy Ma was acting like he had won. Is Papoose the one who walked away from a love that no longer served him and realized his value? Or did Remy make the biggest mistake of her life by betraying the only man who truly had her back? We do know one thing about Papoose, and that is that he never quits. Do you believe that Papoose was merely holding on to something that had already died? Or did Remy Ma discard a dependable guy in favor of fleeting thrills? Is this treachery unforgivable, or do you believe that there may be another chance? Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because it is far from the end of the narrative. I can assure you that you won't want to miss the upcoming drama, secrets, and shocking revelations. Please leave your thoughts in the space provided below. We'll be reading them all.